Let's go. Get up. It's that club, baby. You hear that? You can't sit down to that. Okay.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Sheik Luch, LOXD Block, Silverback. Hey, yo, right now I need to shout out the ISUPK classes.
I want to give a huge, big, humongous shout out to all the UPK schools.
Shout out to Black Watch, hosted by General Johanna. Word, I need y'all to check out Cross the Line Radio as well, man. They've been open all week from 7 to 9. They ain't shut down because of the corona, the COVID and all that. They rockin' strong, you know what I mean?
Think we got a problem, but really it ain't though. It's one of me and these bitches, I count about 3, 4. Think we got a problem, but homie just all talk. He ain't gon' pop a balloon with a pitchfork. Nah, think we got a problem in the club with this dog. Rude boys, dogs, ladies, everybody.
Hey, I'm just following orders. Let me get one of those slow motion pictures, man. One of the slow motion pictures.
You gotta shoot at 60 frames per second.
Come on, that.
They say they wanna hit that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move it cautious. As if they make the wrong move it cautious. You see me, they like, ooh, chemo shopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hit that raw shit. Coming up, I'm about to bullshit. They see me, they like, ooh, chemo shopping. I'm on my body, real niggas right beside me. Damn right, I brought my army, going up like a rocket. Can't nobody stop me. These niggas garbage, so watch your mouth, boy. Coming all black, slithering house, call me mouth, boy. I'm off the hip like a cowboy. I'm a king, you should bow, boy. So they like, damn, man, you cut up. Nothing I can handle. 144 in the booth, going Rambo. Niggas do you dirty like a stick in a bando. So I play the corner like a bum with a banjo. I'ma lead by example. Ooh, keep on stopping, got this bitch off the hand. Got this juice, got this drip, about to hit the bitch with the salt. It ain't rap, it's assault. Can't taste a bitch unless you with the coke. They say they wanna hit that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move it cautious. As if they make the wrong move it cautious.
One way, one way, one way, one way, one way.
Coming up on my new
I do it how a veteran be. You better than me. I'm Reggie at the edge of the key. It's all money, no honey. Think you settling? See, you locked up, fucked up, and it's back to the streets. It's One West. You can check the residency. I reside with soldiers died on the soles of their feet. Cause there's death before designer. Ain't no coward in me. Cause I'm cold as a bitch's shoulder. You ain't calling a week. Get the cooking on this beat. Hope you like it well done. Got them killers rolling with me and they all red rum, red rum, red rum. Got you fuckers scared some. Get the banging on this beat till my fucking head numb. Black Glock, red drum, black and yellow air ones. Homie, you ain't got a vest. I suggest you wear one.
Told these niggas we was going up. They was doing a lot of talking. Now these niggas ain't saying shit.
Feeling like a legend in this shit. Lil nigga, I'm past veteran. Never feeling third. Lil nigga, I'm past second. Guns, I gotta have them all like Ash Ketchum. Shotty break a nigga ribs up like his wife left him. We all stepping. Kill you with kindness cause I'm dead nice. That 5'7" put you 6 feet, not talking height. That judge giving out 5, but you doing life. These hands are rude GPS. A mean right. That's mean right. We build different, you know the vibes. And we something authentic, we notarized. I keep a 144 full because I know a God. Noah's Ark, you know I'm with animals when we flowing by. We back again, no cap, when I'm with Cap again. Yeah, they say they want smoke until we matching them. Everything righteous, so you know when we get back at them, you get hit up with a K, but no acronym.
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they boss shit. These niggas better move and coach shit. Cause if they make the wrong move and coach shit. See me, they like, ooh, keep on chopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. Coming up on my divorce.
Yeah, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. It is the ISUPK. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of Harlem, New York since 1969 under Commanding General Yohana. I'm Officer Tasha Young.
Sorry, Officer War.
I'm Officer Matazi Allen.
Yes, sir. Tonight class is a heavy class. You know, it's a heavy class. Why did they take out the Apocrypha? Why did they take out the Apocrypha? Why did the scriptures turn from 80 books to 66 books? That's a question that all Christians should be asking. All so-called blacks, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people, we should be asking that. If you came over here on slave ships and you was shipped to the four corners of the earth, it's a question that you should be asking. I mean, just really think about it. Think about it. Before the slave trade, the Bible had more books in it. And we all know that the scriptures say you can't add or take away from the prophecy of this book. We know that. We argue that all the time. Even when we were Christians, we made that argument. Oh, you can't take away that. You can't get rid of this. You can't get rid of that. You have to keep that. You got to hold on to that. But now, to be honest, I call the 66 books the slave Bible.
Right.
That's what I call it. I call it the slave Bible. And the reason why I call it the slave Bible is because the book was specifically structured and canonized for slaves.
Salaki, if I may.
Go ahead.
Maybe they don't know that about adding or taking away. So why don't we get it for them so that they will be without excuse.
Go ahead,
That's right.
Let's get it. Now, like that is, I mean, pastors say it all the time. They say it all the time, you know.
It's in the Salaki. Go ahead.
Yeah, they always say it. But guess what? We never really examine this information because why? We just being good slaves. We trust the so-called white man. That's the horrible part about it. We trust the so-called white man. As a people, we have so much trust for him. We believe in anything that he say. And I said this a couple shows back. There is no more. I don't think it was anybody as violent as.
I'm hearing feedback, Salaki. I'm hearing feedback from someone.
For real? Let me turn my joint down. Maybe it's my mic.
You got it.
Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 2. This first of all, we're going to go to 1 and 1 to show you who this is talking to. It's book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1.
Read.
These be the words which Moses spake. Which Moses. Now we know specifically that Moses went into Egypt to retrieve his people. He didn't go in there and say, whosoever believe or anybody want to come or everybody join on. He went to retrieve his people. And he's about to say who his people is. Read. Khan. Which Moses spake unto all Israel.
All who?
All Israel.
All Israel. We gotta really take all of this and understand that he's speaking to all Israel. He's not speaking to the Canaanites. He's not speaking to Esau. He's speaking to who?
All Israel.
All Israel. Read.
On this side Jordan, in the wilderness.
Come on.
In the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab.
So Moses spoke these things on the other side of the Jordan. This is for the preparation of us entering into the promised land.
Right.
And keep in mind, some of us was on the other side of the Jordan. All right. That's a whole nother lesson. But some of us saw land like the plains of Moab. This is why Ruth is a Israelite. They wanted that land, and they asked Moses for that land. So Moses was speaking on the other side of that land, of the other side of the Jordan, just as well. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4. I'm gonna start with verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live.
That you may what?
That ye may live.
This is how you live. This is how you live. It's not about you live off of America. You live off America policies. You live off of America, the American dream. The scripture says this is how you live. Read that again up.
Now therefore, book of Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live, and go in and possess the land which Yahweh, your power of your fathers giveth you. All
right. Now look, I'm gonna give you one scripture on. Give me the book. You know, I'm coming from the hip. Give me Baruch 4:1, because this is the reason. This is one of the reasons why they took it out. This is one of the reasons why they took it out. Mataziala just read that this is how you live. You live off these laws, these statutes, and these commandments. This is what gives you life. If you understand and live by these, and you have a union with your rib, that we live by these, we will live a long life. This is how you live. And this is one of the reasons why they took it out, took the Apocrypha out. I'm gonna give you one right from the rip. Give me that. Baruch 4:1.
All right, this the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1.
Come on.
This is the book of the commandments of God.
Come on.
And the law that endureth forever.
How long does the law endureth?
Forever.
No, just into the New Testament.
Forever.
No, just until the Messiah came.
Forever.
Forever. So this would be a problem. This would be a problem to the Christian church, because it says, read that again up.
So like this is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever.
Read.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
Shall do what?
Shall come to life.
Look at the harmony. Look at the harmony in the scriptures, but they felt as though they needed to take it out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We needed to get rid of that, because you would have started reading and you would have saw the scriptures like Nat Turner saw it.
Right.
You would have saw the scriptures and said, well, this is Moses speaking to the Israelites. Keep going.
But such as leave it shall die.
Shall what?
Shall die.
So you shall die if you leave these laws, these statutes, and these commandments. You know what? You would have started to put 2 and 2 together, dealing with Adam. When you read about Adam, and the Most High told Adam, the day that you eat from this tree, you shall surely die. Then you would have started saying, well, you know what? He died that day. Why? Because the Most High had gave him a commandment and he broke it. He broke it. Read. Keep reading.
Turn thee, O Jacob.
Turn thee, O Jacob. Well, we know who Jacob is.
That's right.
Jacob is Israel. He had 12 sons. Those 12 sons was called the 12 tribes of Israel. Look at the harmony. It's what Moses, it's who Moses was speaking to. Keep reading.
And take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof.
That's how you walk in the Most High's presence. By what? Keeping those laws, those statutes, and those commandments. That's how, that's the true light of the world. The laws, the statutes, and the commandments. Read.
God. That they mayest be illuminated.
Come on.
Give not thine honor to another.
Give what?
Give not thine honor to another.
Now, what is the honor? The honor is in read verse 1 again, then go back down there. Read verse 1 again.
This is the book of the commandments of God.
Come on.
And the law that endureth forever.
And the law that endureth forever.
Mm-hmm. Right. All they that keep it shall come in life. Come to life.
Come to life.
God.
Now go down to verse 3.
Give not thine honor to another.
Don't give your honor to another. Now it's starting to make it, as Christians would say, personal.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's personal. Now it's not personal to the individual. It's personal to who? Israel.
That's
it's
right.
Personal to who Matazi Allah was reading when he went to Deuteronomy. Now it becomes personal when Moses went into Egypt and said, let my people go. Now it's personal.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you Christians talking about, well, you know, my relationship with the Lord is personal. See, you got to watch that, because now when your relationship with the Lord becomes personal, now it's a personal thing between y'all two. Now the laws and statutes and the commandments really ain't, you know, you can bypass a couple of those a little bit because it's personal between us. But if it's personal between all of us, which is all Israel, now it's personal to us. This is why he says in verse 2, turn thee, O Jacob. Read verse 3 again.
Give not thine honor to another.
Come on.
Nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
Don't give it to another nation. Well, what is profitable? Yo, give me Deuteronomy 4. What's that? Deuteronomy 4, the wisdom, our understanding. Hey, hold that. Isaiah War, hold that, because we're gonna go back to that, because we're gonna show you that it is personal. It's personal, all right, but it's personal with us, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people. Yeah, it's personal, but it's personal to us. Now, give me what the scriptures is saying from the book of the Apocrypha, Baruch 4 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's profitable. Give me that, Matazi Allah.
You said Baruch. I thought you said Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I want to show, because what he just read. Read that again, Isaiah War.
Khan. You went 3?
Khan.
It's the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 3. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee. That are profitable. Read. Unto thee to a strange nation.
Unto Israel, unto a strange nation. Remember, we started off by talking about what? The laws, the statutes, and the commandments. We keep those, we come to life. If we lose them, we die. This is what's profitable. And give it not to another. Now, let me show you. Read, Matazi Allah.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, starting with verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me.
Commanded who? He commanded Moses to teach Israel. Go ahead.
That ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Remember, we get ready to go and cross over the Jordan and into the land that he's given us. Read.
Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
So this is our wisdom and our understanding in the sight of the nations. This is what it is. Now go back to the Apocrypha. Give me verse 4.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 4. O Israel, happy O Israel.
O Israel. It's not saying, oh, all the world, all the earth. It's not saying, oh, all the Canaanites, all Esau, all nobody. It's saying what?
O Israel.
O Israel. Read.
Happy are we.
Happy is everybody of the world.
Happy are we.
Are we Israel. Read.
For things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us.
Unto who?
Unto us.
Unto us. These are personal words. Unto us. Go ahead.
Be of good cheer, my people.
Oh, no. Be of good cheer, everybody.
Be of good cheer, my people.
My people. The same thing Moses said when he went into Egypt. Let my people go. Read.
The memorial of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel.
Of Israel. This is the reason why they had to get rid of this Apocrypha. Watch this. Read verse 5.
You were sold to the nations.
You were sold to who?
You were sold to the nations.
No, you were sold to Israel.
You were sold to the nations.
You were sold to the nations. Read.
Not for your destruction.
Not for your destruction. So-called blacks, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people. Not for your destruction. Read.
But because ye moved God to wrath.
Read.
Ye were delivered unto the enemies.
Unto who?
The enemies.
No, unto our friends.
Unto the enemies.
Unto the ones that we love and so cozy and we love them so much.
Ye were delivered unto the enemies.
Unto the enemies. Read.
For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God.
This is what we do.
That's right.
So this is a hip shot, but this right here is one of the reasons why they took out the Apocrypha. They just completely took it out. All 14 books. They decided to canonize the scriptures and give it back to you. Understand what they did. They came, they took us. They came, they conquered us, right? And when they conquered us, they erased everything from us and made us a blank piece of paper.
Right.
And then they wrote on us whatever they wanted to write on us. And now we live by it, ready to die for it. This is what happened. So this is one of the reasons why they took out the Apocrypha. Y'all got anything?
I mean, it's just like the scripture says, and I'm pretty sure you're probably going to get to it. How, you know what I mean? He made the world for our sakes.
Oh yeah, you know I'm going to get that.
You know what I mean? And it's like that one, that's heavy. You know what I'm saying? And then how it also talks about how, you know what I mean, Jacob, he gave his word unto Jacob and his statutes and judgments unto Israel. As for the other nations, you know what I'm saying? They have not known them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I like how they at the end, because it says right here, it says happy, you know what I mean? Happy shall ye be. You see what I'm saying? Happy shall, or it says be of good cheer, my people. And if you read Psalms 147, 19 and 20, it ends with praise ye the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Praise ye the Lord. Like, it's like, man, they don't know it. They don't know him the way we know him. And this is something that was given to us and us alone. And we so quick to give it away, man. So that's what I had to add to my 2 cents to that.
So fast to give it away.
So
you got
fast.
something you want to add, Officer Mataziala?
Nah.
All right, so look, let's get right into it. We're going to be touching on a couple scriptures. Matter of fact, let's touch on a couple scriptures first before I get into, because I want to get into the book of Daniel. I want to get into the book of Daniel. So another reason why they took out the scriptures. Now, go ahead, give me that. They made the earth for our sake.
Okay.
He made the earth, Salakia, for our sake. This is another reason why they took it out. Officer Mataziala.
Come.
You know what? I'm gonna save that till later. I was about to say, let's go to I'm gonna save it for later. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 53.
You want to start it? Okay, kind of, because that's around the same space. So 6 and 53 set.
Count on.
Second Ezra 6:3.
Now, why did they take the Apocrypha out? Why? What was so vital? Why? First of all, before you hit that, give me John 10 and 22. This should have been a red flag right here. This should have been like, you know how in football they throw a flag, a penalty.
Right.
This should be a penalty right here. John 10 and 22 should be a penalty. Somebody should have saw it and said, well, wait a minute. So, and I never did. I was completely blind until I came into the school of Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. I had nothing. I think, and I thank General Yohana for holding ground. I thank General Yohana for keeping One West ISUPK alive.
That's right.
Because by him doing this, now look at us now. Look at us now. Like, go ahead, give me John 10, 22.
It's the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter.
So that should be a red flag. Like, what is the feast of dedication? Why was the Messiah at something called the feast of dedication? He don't go and sin. He's not a sinner. Why was he at the feast of dedication? Right. Come to find out, the feast of dedication is in the Apocrypha, and they just took it out. They just removed the whole thing. Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, camera went out.
Yep, they just removed that whole thing. Just took it right on out.
Right.
Now, now give me Second Ezra.
Book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 53.
Come on.
Upon the 6th day, thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things.
Now that's in complete harmony with Scripture, with the Bible, with Genesis. There was no need to take this out, because on the 6th day he did this. Read.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
So he made Adam Lord of all thy creatures. Read.
Of him come we all.
Now, why is it saying, Salakia? Why is it saying we all come from Adam? Let me explain. The reason why it says we all come from Adam is because after the flood, we all came from Adam. Noah came from Adam. Noah had 3 sons. So we all come from Adam. We all come from Adam. Read.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
And the people that he had chosen. So now, so this is one of the reasons why they got to take it out, because then we'd have been the people. Well, what do you mean he chose them? They didn't choose him. He chose them. Read that again.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen.
So that's 2 sets of people. We all come from Adam and the ones that he chose. Well, who did he chose? He chose who? Shem. From Shem came Eber. From Eber came Abram, which became Abraham. Abraham had a son named Isaac. Isaac had a son named Jacob. Remember, we just read in Baruch 4 and 3, I believe. No, 4. Yeah, 4, Salakia, 4 and 3. Oh, Jacob. Right? Give me that in Psalms 147. 19 and 20. Hold that, Yala. We going back there. Go ahead.
All right, It's the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
There's that Jacob. Those the ones that he chose. Go ahead.
his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Come on.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
See the separation? He has not dealt so with any nation. Go ahead.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
They have not known them.
Praise ye the Lord.
Praise ye the Lord.
Christians know that. They know that's some excitement behind that statement.
They definitely know that. So here we see a separation. See, it's harmony in the Apocrypha and with the Bible. They are one. This is the book. It goes together. Now let's go back to 2nd Ezra. Let's get it. Read.
Verse 55.
Come on.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Hold on. That's a personal pronoun. For our sake. Personal. Very personal. Now the picture should start getting real clear. They had to take this out because it's a division. It's a separation. There's something going on here. Read.
Verse 56. As for the other people.
And wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Read 55 again.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
For our sake. Read.
As for the other people.
For the other people.
Which also come of Adam.
Which also come from Adam, because we all came from Adam. Go ahead.
If I could say something right here, man, because this scripture right here goes so hard, man. It's like the first thing people will say, well, see, everybody in the whole world, we all come from one nation. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it's like, it's almost like when you first read in the first part of it, they'll just be like, see, you know what I mean? We all come, we Israel. And it's like, wait a minute. As for the other, man, just in case you thought we forgot about y'all, you know what I mean? But so like, I just had to jump because, you get stuck on the wordplay if you don't read the whole scripture.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing that we love to do as a people. We'll sit there and see that, he made the word for our sake. See, ours, see us, all of us, everybody, all the nations in the world. But then it's like, but as for the other.
And that's for the other.
As for the other people. All right, Salaki, go ahead. I just had to make sure I chime in on that other.
Go ahead, read it again.
Verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam.
Come on.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are what?
That they are nothing.
That they are nothing. I want you to hold that for a second. We're going to come back. We're going to see if it's any harmony in the other prophets concerning this matter. In the slave Bible, the 66 books, within the 66 books, is there something that is in harmony with that? Let's go to Isaiah 40 and 15.
Ooh-wee.
Let's see.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 15.
Come on.
Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
As a what?
Are as a drop of a bucket.
As a drop of a bucket. Read.
And are counted as the small dust of the balance.
Just small little dusty dust. Go ahead.
Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. Verse 17.
Here it comes.
All nations before him are as nothing.
As a what?
All nations before him are as nothing.
Hold that for a second, Matazi. Get Ezra. Read that in Ezra again. Let's see if there's some harmony there.
Verse 56. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are nothing. Now go back to Isaiah 45 and 17.
Book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. All nations before him are as nothing.
As nothing. See the harmony?
Hold on. There's more harmony in that.
Let's see the more harmony in that. Let's get it.
And they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else on that?
You want well, you want me to continue?
Yeah. What was you said? What was the verse where it said it's verse 15? That's where it is.
Oh, come on,
verse 15.
All right. You want me to read verse 15 or go to second Ezra and read the second Ezra's account first?
Read the second Ezra's account first and the second part, and then go to 15.
But be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Now go to 15.
Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance.
You know how important a drop of water in a bucket of water is?
Oh, I'm about to here go my water right here, and here's the table. I'm just going to go ahead and spill a little drop and see how much I care about it. Nope, don't care about it at all.
Nope, don't care about it at all.
Don't care about it at all. It's on my table right now. I ain't even going to clean it up. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Right.
All right, go back to second Ezra. 6.
Book of second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 56. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle.
You know what spittle is? You ever saw someone is talking and you can stand on the side of them and you can see like the little that's the spittle. It's
discussion. You got to wipe that off.
That's what the other nations are to the Most High. Just spittle. Read.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
It's nothing. It's nothing. Nothing.
Because why else would you put a whole, like, you ever think, when I think about this, right? I think about those people that used to go to the well and fill up their vessel and then carry that whole vessel all the way back to their house. They're going to spill some water on the way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can see them like just carrying it like this, and they just, you know what I mean, walking like this, and some of the water's just dropping. They just like, that's all right. I planned for that drop. Right. I mean, I ain't thinking about that drop.
That drop is nothing.
It's nothing to me. It's nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So these are the reasons why they took it out. Come on, add what you want to add to why they took it out, and then I'm gonna get into the book of Daniel. You got you got anything you want to bring out on that Azar War and why they took the Apocrypha out?
Man, shoot, it's a number of reasons, man. Of course, my whole thing is part of that crafty counsel. You know what I mean? That Psalms 83 is talking about. You know what I'm saying? When you read, in fact, I remember Matazia Allah had brought this out the one time when he was talking about the book of Judith. You see what I'm saying? And how they know that as long as you don't keep your law, you know what I'm saying, then they're going to have control over you. You know, they seen what we did in Egypt when we had the law, when we began to keep the law, and how we conquered all these, these kingdoms on our way to our kingdom and things like that. They took record of it. You see what I'm saying? So they in Judith chapter 5, if y'all take the time to read it sometime, it talks, and this is in the Apocrypha, it talks about how they plan to take over the land of Israel, the people of Israel. And the way to do it is if they have iniquity, if I'm saying that right, if they don't have iniquity in them, then everything most high will come to their defense. You know what I'm saying? But if they have iniquity, then you can forget about it, man. You know what I mean? Like we can always conquer these people, because the Most High won't come to their defense. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why they took this out. You see what I'm saying? Because there's more. The story of how birthdays was done and how kings celebrated their birthdays monthly, and how they seek to kill or find an Israelite that was keeping the law, statutes, commandments. What they did to that woman and her 7 sons, I believe, was 7 sons. Okay. You see what I'm saying? All because of pork, all over pork. You see what I'm saying? So they took these things out because they don't want you to keep the law. They don't want you to see how important it is for you to keep your law, statutes, commandments. But then when you go to read Psalms 83, it tells you right there that they are confederate against thee. You see what I'm saying? And you know, they seek to keep you from knowing who you are. So matter of fact, if we can get that real quick, it's one of my favorite scriptures, and it's a prayer. You see what I'm saying? And I know I'll bring this out a couple times, but this is why they took these scriptures out.
Come. Book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh.
So this is a prayer that we sending up to the Most High. This is a prayer that we send up every Sabbath service. You see what I'm saying? But this is a prayer that I believe it was David that was sending up to the Most High, and he's basically telling them, keep not thy silence, and hold not thy peace, you know, and be not still, O Yahweh. In other words, don't turn another eye to this. You know, pay close attention to what they're doing here. Go ahead.
Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So they lifted up themselves, man. They boasting about themselves. They getting strong. You know what I mean? And they are strong with this wisdom that follows. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have
taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Exactly. So they are consulting against us. We're the hidden ones. We're the ones who call ourselves African Americans, call ourselves blacks, call ourselves niggas. We don't know who we are. You see what I'm saying? But they consulted against us, even to this very day. And I'm going to show you how you know it's even to this very day. You see what I'm saying? Because these nations are above us. And as long as they have power, as long as they know that you don't have access to your power, don't know who you are, then they will always have their foot on your neck because they have a perpetual hatred against you.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
From being the African Americans.
From being a nation.
That's right. From being Puerto Ricans.
From being a nation. That the name of Israel.
That the name of who?
That the name of Israel.
See, this is that part. See, you are known as African Americans. You're known as Mexican. You're known as Native Indian. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're so called in this world. But these are bywords and proverbs that have been put on you so that you didn't know what. And go start at the top. They have said,
come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That is exactly why they took the Apocrypha out, because they don't want you to even know who you are. They don't want you to call yourself Israel. And that's why Isaiah 1:3 says that the ass knoweth his owner, the ox his master's crib, but my people don't know, they won't even consider. Why? Because of what your enemy has done to your heritage. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. You won't even consider the fact that your name is actually Judah, that your name is Reuben, that your name is Benjamin, Levi, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? But it's coming a time because your oppressor is revealing himself in these days. He's showing how much he still hates you. He's allowing your other enemies to come across your borders, across their borders, and keeping your people at bay. You know what I'm saying? So he's showing you every day you turn on the news, he's showing you how much he hates you. And how long are you going to continue to allow that to go on? But go ahead. What else it says?
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Your enemies are confederate against you. They tag teaming you, man. They like the Legion of Doom. They the tag team champions out here, man. You know what I mean? They jumping off the rook with clotheslines. You know what I'm saying? That's what they doing to. That's Power and Glory back in the day, wrestling tag team champions. That's what they doing. They taking over you, and they know what they doing. That's why Afghan could come over here and get money, but Haiti is met and stuck up under a bridge.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where our brothers, you know what I mean? The brothers of the ISUPK, shouts out to Yatazat, shouts out to Houston, you know what I'm saying? For them going down there, taking the risk that we took with the little that we had to do the best that we could. You know what I'm saying? And they run Al Sharpton out of there. You see what I'm saying? Because the Most High knows that we are going to be the ones that have to come to our defense because they are confederate against thee.
Right.
And then it goes on. If you take the time to read, it goes on the list in order, your oppressors. Go ahead and list a couple. You know what I mean? State a couple of them real quick.
Verse
Just
6.
the first two.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
Kind of. Edom is the so-called oppressor today. You know what I mean? The so-called white man today. You see what I'm saying? And then, of course, the Ishmaelites, those are the so-called Arabs today. And who did they just accept over, with planes and balloons? You see what I'm saying? And money. Those, you know what I mean? These are the two nations that were monumental in your bondage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So this is why the Apocrypha was taken out. And if I could get one more scripture real quick, because just to let people know, you know what I mean? It ain't going to happen without punishment. If I can get Revelations chapter 22 and verse start at 18. Because you can't just, you know what I mean, steal these words from a book and nothing gonna happen to you now. That goes to show you that we look, like the scripture says in Jeremiah 14:2, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed. They dismayed. They don't think that these prophecies are going to come true. But go ahead, read 18.
Book of Revelations, chapter 22, verse 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book.
Let me tell you something. We got people in this world, they don't even know they adding to. Celebrating Christmas is adding to. Did you know that? Nowhere in this Bible does it say that's Jesus' birthday, but that you in your church, you pastors in your church is going around saying that Christmas is Jesus' birthday. And you celebrating it. You got all different types of things that you do in the church that is adding to. Say, eating pork and teaching other people to eat pork. You're adding to this because Peter was not talking about cleansing pork and so that you can eat it. You're adding to, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it, and it's a sad thing. And I understand, because that's what you've been raised in. That's what the slave has taught us. You know what I mean? And we just allowed it to continue. But at some point, you got to look at this verse right here and really think if that's something that you want to really be a part of. You know what I mean? But yeah, you doing a lot of things that's added to making up these holidays and not keeping your holy day. Saying any day, I could serve the feast of dedication or the feast of the blowing of the trumpets. I could do it at any time. I don't have to do it when he says. That's adding to. That's adding to. You're doing things on your own and you're not doing the things of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. What the next part say? Verse 19.
Verse 19. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book.
You think the Most High is a liar? We gonna see. We gonna see, because you just took out words from this book. You took the Apocrypha out. You see what I'm saying? And so that's and you did it with the intentions of keeping his children lost in the sauce.
Right.
You think he ain't gonna punish you for that? You think he ain't gonna keep you out his kingdom? Yeah. All right. And that's all I had to say about that.
Well, look, I'm just gonna add to it.
Let's get it. Oh, and by the way, that water that I spilled, it literally dried up. Like it's gone. It's not there no more. Just wanted to mention that. I didn't touch it. I promise you I didn't touch it.
Yo, you crazy as hell.
I'm about to pour some more.
Crazy. All right, so look, real quick, we're gonna get let's go to the book of Daniel. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes. All right. Now, what's interesting about this is, right, when I was in the church, I started reading. I started like venturing out into history a little bit, and I was reading the history of Alexander the Great, Ptolemy, Cassander, different men that I'm about to speak about. I started reading about this, and I was like, wow, somebody really did some history outside of the Bible.
Okay.
I never knew it was in the Bible.
Yeah, kind.
I never knew this information was in the scriptures.
Right.
But this right here is very vital on why they took it out, people. This is very vital that they took this out, because this right here would have lined up a lot of things for you. This right here would have made you step back and go, wow. It would have started to become alive to you. It wouldn't be so much mysticism dealing with the scriptures. It really would have. So we're gonna go to the book of Daniel, because in the book of Daniel, there's some information in here and some prophecies and visions that was taking place that is in the Apocrypha. And it's nowhere in among your 66 books. So you can't argue. This right here, like, it closes the deal. This is exactly what he said when he read in Revelation 22. Do not add or take away from the prophecy of this book. Because guess what? This is a prophecy right here. Daniel's chapter 8. We're going to start Daniel's chapter 8. We're going to start at verse 1. Read.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel.
So he's talking about Daniel. So a vision came unto Daniel. Read.
After that which appeared unto me at the first.
Come on.
And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns.
A ram that had 2 horns. So here Daniel is seeing a vision. And in the vision, he saw a ram with 2 horns. Read.
And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys a clue. The ram represented, and the 2 horns represented 2 nations. It represented the Persians and the Medes, right? And the last one that was higher, that came up last, that was the Persians. All right. Now I'm going to prove it, but keep reading.
Verse 4. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him.
So no one could come up against the Persians and the Medes. Remember, we went into captivity under the Persians and the Medes. Matter of fact, that was the last captivity we read in the Old Testament when we get to Malachi. That right there. We went into that captivity. Keep reading.
Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. Verse 5. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth.
Now, a he-goat came from the west. Now, the he-goat is very, very important, because the he-goat represent the Greeks. It represent the Greeks. All right. Because we did go into a Greek captivity, but they took that out of the scriptures. They took the Greek captivity completely out of the scriptures, completely gone. And we're going to see why. Read.
And touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
So he had a notable horn between his eyes. It was it was noticeable. All right. He saw it. All right. That horn was Alexander the Great, as they call him, the world calls him Alexander the Great. And he was great. He was great because he came and he conquered everything, right? That's what it is. Now, before we move forward, we're going to prove that real fast, and then we're going to come back to that. Go to verse 20.
Verse 20. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
So now we see that the ram with the two horns was what? Read it again.
The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
Go ahead.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
The rough goat is the king of Grecia. These are the Greeks. And the notable horn, that was yours truly, Alexander the Greek. We're going to show that because it's in the Apocrypha. They took it out. But before we get to it, go ahead, you got something you want to add?
Nah, you want it.
Before we get to it, I want to go back because I want to show y'all some things that took place or why they took it out, because it was important for them to take this out. Now, you got to understand, this is in the book of Daniels now. This is in the book of Daniels. This is a vision and a prophecy. As our war just read, you can't add or take away from the prophecy of this book. But guess what? Esau felt like it was vital to take this out. And we're going to show you why.
Can I finish out verse 21?
Go ahead.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
The first king.
That's important.
That's very important. That's very, very, very important. We're going to read that again, too. We're going to come back. We're going to read that again. But I want to go back and we're going to see why it was so important for them to take this out. So important. So important. So now let's go back to Daniel's 8 and 6.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 6. And he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. Verse 7. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with anger against him. I think it says collar in the
right, but you're right. That's what it means, though. Go ahead.
Against him, and smote the ram and break his two horns.
So he's the goat with that horn came and conquered the ram. The goat came and conquered the ram, which is the Persians and the Medes. And that was Alexander the Greek. He came with anger and he crushed them. Go ahead, read.
And smote the ram and break his two horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
So when he stamped upon him, he destroyed him and he Hellenized everybody. He Hellenized everybody. Can you read?
Verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great. And
this
when
is why I was saying he was great, because and this is the reason why he was called Alexander the Great. Now this was before Alexander the Great. This was before Alexander. Daniel is given this prophecy, this vision about this goat and this ram, this goat with one horn, which we know now represent Greece, the Greeks, and the horn represent the first king, and the Persians and the Medes. Keep reading.
And he was strong. The great horn was broken.
The great horn was broken.
Salaki, I read that wrong. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
So when he was strong, that means when he was young. He was young, he was strong, he was conquering, and this Alexander was broken. He died. He died. Alexander the Great, this great horn, died. at a very young age.
That's right.
This is all in scripture.
Yep.
This is all in scripture. This is a prophecy. And guess what? They had taken it out. Well, why did they take it out?
Wait a minute. That ain't gonna be nowhere in this Bible. I'm looking at the 66 books now. I don't see no Alexander the Great.
Oh no. You know why? Because it's in the Apocrypha. They took it out and we're gonna read it. But let's
so wait a minute. Why would we talk about this if it's not in the Bible? Why would Daniel bring this up if it's not in the Bible?
Because Esau felt like it was vital, which Alexander the Great was Esau. Mm-hmm. He felt it very vital to take it out because it would have revealed too much of the New Testament. The New Testament would have became very clear. The pieces of the puzzle would have fit right in, and we're gonna show it would have fit right into its groove on where it should be. Go ahead. What was
it's crazy because it's in their history books.
Absolutely. That's the crazy thing. That's what I was saying. Yeah. I was reading this. It's called Matthew Henry Commentary. Mm-hmm. And I saw all of this information in there, but I never knew it was in the Bible because as a Christian, I only believed in the 66 books. Right. I didn't know that this same information, like for instance, remember, by the time we got to the New Testament, we were speaking Greek.
Right.
Mm.
Where did that come from? This is where it came from, right here, from Alexander. Mm-hmm. When he came and he stamped up on them, he Hellenized everybody. Yeah, he did. Everybody was Hellenized. Go ahead, keep reading.
And for it came up 4 notable ones.
So after he was broken, read that from the top, verse 8.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
So when he was strong, he died, he was broken. Go ahead.
And for it came up 4 notable ones.
And after him came up 4 notable ones. You know what? Let's take a time out. Let's get to the Apocrypha and let's get that. And then let's get that. Let's get that.
Dog, that's just.
I know y'all don't believe me. they like, no way. Why would you? This is very important. Like the language and the vision is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's real heavy. Like this is something that we need to see.
That's right.
Because this right here was like a pivotal point. Because when he died, something took place. And it's all, like you said, it's all in the history books. This is how this is where the first white pharaoh came from.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the first white pharaoh came from, right here. So let's get it. Let's go to the book of Second Maccabee.
First Maccabee.
First Maccabee, chapter 1.
Mm-hmm. Verse
let's
1.
get it.
That's 1. I can read it.
We're gonna do a little bit of harmony here. So we're gonna be bouncing back. We're gonna be bouncing back and forth to prove what we're saying is true, because I know Christians ain't gonna believe me. They're gonna be like, no way, no, no. Why would they do that? They wouldn't do that.
Well, those aren't holy scriptures. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened.
Stop. And it what?
And it happened.
Well, what happened? What the hell? You know what happened? The vision that Daniel had.
That's right.
It happened. Look, this is heavy right here. This is powerful. It starts off by saying what?
And it happened.
And it happened. Read.
After that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim,
come on,
had smitten Darius, king of the Persians, in Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
All right, stop for a minute. Read that again, and then I want you to go back to Daniel's 8 and 7. Read that again.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes,
Now,
that he
go ahead.
that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
The first over Greece. Now let's see if this is this information right here. Let's see if it's a part of Daniel's vision, because for some reason in the Maccabees it said, and it happened. This went down. Well, what happened? Daniel's 8 and 7. Read.
And I saw him come close unto the ram.
So we know who the ram is. We already know that this is talking about the goat from verse 5. Right? We know it's the goat from verse 5. We know who the goat is. The goat is Greece, and the horn is Alexander. We already know that because it says in verse 21. Read verse 21 so we'll know who was a part of this ram with Greece. Read.
You saying you want the ram or the goat? Verse 20 is the ram.
21, I want the goat.
So you want the goat?
I want the goat.
Come. Verse 20, book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 21. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
Is the what?
Is the first king.
So it was the first king over Greece. Now, Azawar, can you read
Right where it say that?
Right where it says that at.
That he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
So he was the first over Greece. So we know that, and it happened. It was who? Alexander. Now, Mataziala, go back to Daniel's 8 and 7.
And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram and brake his two horns.
So he attacked the two rams. I mean, Salakia, the rams and the two horns. Well, who is the ram and the two horns? Give me that now in Daniel 8 and 20.
The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
Okay, so now we know. Now we got all parties. Now go back to First Maccabee 1 and 1. And it happened. Read.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
So what they took it out. Well, why did they take it out? It's right here. It's complete, perfect harmony. This should be in the Bible. But guess what? Esau said, no, we got to take this out. You know why? Because these are Greeks. These are Romans. These are the same people.
That's right.
Now let's go back to First Maccabee. Let's go to verse 2.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 2.
Read.
And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up.
This is talking about Alexander the Greek. Go ahead.
And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
And he became sick and he died. Well, this is important because he died at a very young age.
That's
well,
right.
Let me ask you a question. Is this in the book of Daniels? Is this in the vision? Well, let's take a look. Let's go back to Daniel's 8 and 8.
Well, let me show you, man.
Matter
of fact, Salakia, start at verse 8 and 7. Read that again, because it just said that verse 3, and it says that he went through to the end of the earth and he took spoils of many nations, so much that the earth was quiet before him, whereunto he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And this is the Maccabee 4:4. And he gathered a mighty stronghold and ruled over countries and nations and kings and became tributaries unto him. They became tributaries unto him, right? So now go back to Daniel 8 and 7. Just read the whole thing right there and then go on to 8, because it says in verse 5 of Maccabees 1 and 5, it says, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. So now read the whole Daniel's 8 and 7. Let's see if that information is in there.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 7. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
So he was crushing everybody, just like the book of Maccabees says. Read.
Verse 8, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
So, and he died. He was broken. He was broken. That means he was died. This is why it says in Maccabee 1 and 5. Read that.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 5. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
So he died. Keep reading in Daniel's 8 and 8.
Come. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones.
Came up what?
Came up 4 notable ones.
Come on.
Toward the 4 winds of heaven.
So now, after he died, 4 of his generals, 4 of his friends took over. Is this in the book? Is this in the Maccabee? No, it can't be, because this is so important. This would be so important. This would be vital. This would be very critical, because it's saying that it's taking power and control over the earth. Well, let's see if it's in there. Now go back to Maccabee 1 and 6. We stopped off at 5 when he was broken. He died. Now let's see what 6 says.
Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Come on.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died.
And then he died. So Alexander died. He was broken. We see it. It's in the book of Daniel. And in the book of Daniel, it says, and came up 4 notable ones, right?
Yeah.
Towards the four winds of the heavens. So what did they do? They took over the earth. Give me Job. What's that? Job 9 and 24.
Come.
Before you read that, read verse 9 in Maccabee 1 and 9.
Come. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
So, wow. It shouldn't be, they should never take this out of the scriptures, because it's in the book of Daniel. Now let's go back to the book of Daniel and read verse 8 one more time.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
All right, stop for a second. We're going to come back to that. Now I want you to give me Job chapter 9 and verse 24.
Book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The what?
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. The earth is given into the hand of the. This is very vital.
This is very vital.
Like, it's no reason why this should be taken out unless they're trying to hide it from you, unless they're using what? Crafty counsel.
That's right.
If they using crafty counsel, remember, we got to enslave them, wipe them clean, wipe the slate clean, take out these books because they was always in the scriptures. They was always in the Bible. There was no reason to take it out unless it was us. If it was Esau, that was committing a crime, of course I would get rid of the evidence against me.
Daggone right. They are a deceiver. That's what devil means.
That's what the devil means. Read that again.
The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. And you know what they did? They went in and they painted over the script. Remember, these four. Give me that. That's in
let me see. Hold on.
That's in chapter 3 and 48. This is what they did. This is what they did right here. They got rid of the evidence. This is like the fingerprint. This is the DNA on the book, on the scriptures. The DNA is right there. They got rid of the DNA. First Maccabee 1 and 48.
Khan. This is a book of 1 and 48. Khan. This is a book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 48.
Salakia, no, it's 3 and 48.
3. That's all right, Khan. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. And laid upon the book of the law, wherein the heathen.
Start over. Read it again.
And laid upon the book of the law.
No, it says laid.
Oh, Salakia. Open. And laid open the book of the law.
So they opened up the scriptures. Read.
Mm-hmm. Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Wow.
Dang, son.
We got to take that out. If I was reading, I'd be like, look, we got to take that out.
Yeah, they Salakia, if I may, they definitely was telling on themselves in the Apocrypha. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you're going to bring up Wisdom of Solomon, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you do that one.
No, I'm gonna bring it. You can bring it. But
man,
understand, like if I may understand, then you can bring that, and then we're gonna go back to this. Understand, this right here is if I was a Christian and I read this, I would have been like, well, what do they mean? They painted over they whitewashed it. So this is the reason why I read in the book of Revelation that the Messiah, which is Yahweh Shah Mashiach, is known to us in the world as Jesus Christ. This is the reason why, Salakia. I'd have been like, this is the reason why he's white. This is the reason why he's white. He's white because they did what? Read that again, Maccabee 1 and 3.
1 and 48.
3 and 48.
3 and 40. Salakia. This is the book of. Hang on, I'm back to my other joint. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
On what it looks like them. I'm gonna make the Messiah look like me.
If this I may, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because it would have just the light bulb would have just went off. Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Pastor Pork Chop. Look, we got some issues here because this says that someone would paint the images, the prophets that look like them. Well, the ones that put us in slavery did that. I would have started putting 2 and 2 together. But there's that crafty counsel. Go ahead, you can bring it out.
No, I was just gonna say, man, I remember being young, and your grandmom and your auntie and your family, they paid money for their Bibles. You see what I'm saying? And when you open that book and you see Christ in a picture like this, and it's a white dude.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's literally telling you what they opened that book and they put in that book their images. They took their Polaroids and let me put this right here, put this right here. This is what Peter looked like. This is what God looked like. This is what Jesus looked like. This is what Paul looked like. That's why the Bible says the earth has been given to the hand of the wicked. They cover the faces of the judges thereof. Like they literally are covering the faces of the judges, man.
All right.
And this scripture right here, it pretty much it's heavy, man.
It's just heavy. Go ahead, you want to bring out the wisdom of Solomon, then we're gonna get back to the Maccabees.
I'm gonna be real quick with it. Wisdom of Solomon, where we at? It was hold on a second. Salakia, chapter 14 and verse 15. And it says, I can read it real quick. It says, for a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he have made an image of his child soon taken away, now honored him as a god, which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Right.
Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. Engraven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings, whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far and made an express image of a king whom they honored to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Also the singular diligence of the artificer, I get that right, did help to set forward the ignorance to more superstition. Man,
that's heavy.
That right there,
whole class right there.
Khan. That right there is what you see when some of you Christian people, and I know y'all like to sit here and say, well, Jesus color don't matter, but I tell you what, when you blink your eyes and say Jesus, it's a white dude. And guess who that white dude is? Caesar Borgia.
That's right.
And what you have to understand is every picture of Jesus looks the same. It's the white man with the little brown, the long blonde hair, you know what I mean? It's like brownish hair, and then of course he got the beard and everything, got the white on, but it's the same picture. It's the same person. Why? Because that's what they did, man. They took images of themselves. They painted themselves. You ain't going to see no real picture of Christ. You're not going to see no Khan.
We got to finish, at least go down to keep reading down to verse 21.
Khan.
Verse 19.
Verse 19. Oh, go ahead. Go right ahead.
For he, peradventure, willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god.
Dang.
Which a little before was but honored as a man.
Damn.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
The what?
And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
Look, I'm going to ask y'all just one question. Did that image deceive the whole world?
Khan.
Did everybody on the planet believe that this was the greatest man that was ever born on the planet, which is our king?
Khan. Even Florida Evans. They even tripped up Florida Evans. She was like, not my Jesus.
This
right.
is
oh
heavy.
My goodness.
This is real heavy.
Real heavy.
Go ahead.
21.
Salakia. I was just someone asked a question I wanted to respond.
Go ahead, respond.
For men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name. We can stop. We can get back to Alexander.
Yeah.
That was a heavy insert right there.
Honestly, that deserves a whole class because it's so much information in there. Because out of that came something called and you guys can look this up. It's called the 1493 Paper Bull. It was a law that when they created this image, when they painted this likeness of his son, this was Pope Alexander the Sixth.
Right.
When they did this, they created a law, and with that law is called the 1492 or 1493 papal bull, which they used to conquer the whole entire earth.
That's right.
To deceive the whole world, who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God. So he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing that he is God. Let's get that real quick. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, please, real quick. Just real quick, and then we're gonna get back to see. It's so much information that our people need to understand. Like, this is crafty counsel right here.
You said 2 Thessalonians.
Under Commanding General Yohana, we bring this information out. We bring this information to you. So in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, we're going to just real quick, verse 4.
This is the book of Second.
Verse 3.
This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
He's being revealed.
That's right.
Right now, in this class, why did they remove the Apocrypha? He's being revealed. Read.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
So now he exalting himself above all that is called God. Read.
Or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
This is what Isaiah Ward was talking about when he was saying, every time now you see all the images, you see the images of Esau, Pope Alexander's son, Caesar Borgia, right? We see it now. It's everywhere. Now, real quick, verse 10.
Verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
That they might be saved. That they might be saved with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them. Because you know why? Because we receive that, we believe that, we fight for that, we die for that. We believe so hard. I hear on Clubhouse how they fight so hard for this son of this man of redemption.
Right.
Oh, they love the so-called white Jesus.
Yeah, because he put himself to be a God, and they believed it.
And they believe it. Oh, they believe it so much. And for this cause, verse 11.
And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion.
The Most High is sending this delusion. You want to believe it? It's like being given over to a reprobated mind. You want to believe it? Read it again.
It's a lie. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion.
Strong delusions. Go ahead.
That they should believe a lie.
That they should believe. So the Most High is allowing this.
That's right.
He's causing the blindness. He's giving them eyes that they cannot see and ears that they cannot hear to this very day. He's doing it. You want to believe it? You don't want to receive the love of the truth? Well, this is what you're going to get. A strong delusion. Go ahead. What you about that?
Salakia, if I may, that it definitely does say that that's one of the curses that was put on us, man. You know what I mean? And then it also said, like I said it before in Isaiah 1 and 3, the ass knoweth his owner, the ox his master's crib, but my people don't know, they won't consider.
They have that, they will not consider at all. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. They do not want to hear it. No way.
Let's get back. Let's get back, man. That's heavy. Yeah, we definitely will have to do a teaching on that one, man.
Yeah, a whole class on that.
Definitely.
And once again, it's called the 1493 paper board. Everybody needs to read that. You so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American people, you need to understand how they did this.
Right.
And Wisdom of Solomon, when it talks about that information and it talks about the law and how he conquered the earth, this is how he did it. Please take a look at that. Now let's get back to First Maccabee and give me First Maccabee and then give me Daniel's 8 because we stopped at 9. So I want you to read 8 and I want you to read 9.
In Maccabees?
No, Daniel's 8. Daniel's 8 and 9. Give me that again. So give her, you know what I mean, just to bring them back up where we was at.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 8. Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great.
So we know that was Alexander the Greek. Go ahead.
And when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. And out of one of them came forth
a little horn. One of them. So one of their sons, one of their children, one of them. Read it again.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
The pleasant land, Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven.
That's us. Go ahead.
And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
There go that Hellenized. We were Hellenized. I'm gonna show you that some of us, we was like, let's
good. Yeah, he's good. He's good people.
Yeah, he's wonderful. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts. Hold up. Did I finish verse 10?
No, Salakia. Yeah, no,
verse 10 again. Verse 10 again. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
Wow. So is this in the scriptures?
Kaboom.
Is this in this? If this is it, you know what? This better not be in the scriptures, and they took this out because that means that somebody is a deceiver.
That's just wicked.
That means somebody is lying. Somebody lied to us. Somebody wasn't telling. Let's see. Let's go to Maccabee. Let's go back to Maccabee now. Now we just read in verse 8 when he waxed great. And he was broken, that great horn, which was Alexander, and for it came up 4 notable ones towards the 4 ends of the earth. So they took over the earth. We know that's in there. Now let's read it. Maccabee 1. Let's read that again, verse 9, and we're gonna go down to verse 10.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them.
And so did who?
So did their sons after them.
Read.
Many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Who?
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Now, right now, we see it up here right now. Read that, Mataziala, read it.
Khan. This is from Google. It says, instead of one successor, however, there were actually 4 generals who succeeded Alexander.
How many?
4 generals who succeeded Alexander.
And this is their history in Daniel's 8 and 8. It says, and for it came up 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of the earth, towards the north, east, south, and west. They took over the whole earth. The earth was given into the hands of the wicked. We read it in Job 8 and 24. Go ahead.
Antigonus, Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucus.
So they took Macedonia, they took Egypt, Greek, and Syria. But it's very important to understand that the earth was given unto the hand of the wicked. Those 4 notable ones took over everything. This is where we get, and I said it before, this is where we get, and I'm going to do a class on this because Ptolemy was very important and very vital too in history. And that's the next one I'm going to do on this, because I'm going to do a piece on this whole Jesus thing. The name, the virgin birth. There was Christians before Yahweh Shah was even born. Remember, just a quick sidebar. Christian, that has a Greek origin. So if it has a Greek origin, what's the origin of it? Where did it come from? Who started this? We're going to talk about it. All right.
Okay.
But in Daniel's 8:8, it says the four notable ones. Those were the four generals that took over. Now, Maccabee 1 and 10.
This book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 10.
Read.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
Remember, it says, and out of their children. Right? It says, and it came to pass the four notable ones towards the four ends of the earth, and out of one of them came forth a little horn. Now, read Maccabee 1 and 10 again.
And there came out of them a wicked root.
Come on.
Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes.
Real quick sidebar. Where were we first called Christians? In Antioch. In Antioch. See, all this stuff. Remember, and we just read that Alexander went through and stamped everybody. This is how we became Hellenized. We were first called Christians in Antioch, which is Greek. This is Greek. Verse 10, read it again from the top.
And Salaki, if I could just add on, Salaki, if I may, if I could just add on to that real quick. Where did we go to convert most of them? Was in Antioch.
It was in Antioch.
Matter of fact, we traveled back and forth between Jerusalem and Antioch. You know what I mean? To convert many.
Salaki, if I may, this would change your whole understanding of the New Testament.
Right.
Because it would give you history about the environment. It would give you history about the terrain. It would let you know, like, okay, well, this is where I read in the scriptures before if they ain't take it out. This is where Alexander did his damage. This is where the four generals did their damage.
Right.
This is why we speak Greek. This is why Greek was the dominant language.
That's right.
This is why we were Hellenized. This is why it says to the Jews first and the Greeks, because the word Greek is Hellen. It's Hellenized. It's Hellen. That's what it is. It would all start clicking. So guess what? They had to take it out. Because if they didn't take it out, we would have started putting two and two together and say, wait a minute, hold on. Now, Alexander went through here, and then the four generals, and then from the four generals came in verse 10. Read that again.
And there came out of them a wicked root. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Who?
Wicked men.
No way. What?
Wicked men.
Wicked men. Hold on for a second. Let's go back to Daniel 8 and 10.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 10. And it waxed great, even to the hosts of heaven.
Come on.
And it cast down some of the hosts.
How many?
Some of the hosts.
Some of the hosts. Read that in Daniel, Maccabee 1 and 10 again.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Wicked men out of Israel. Some of those.
Wicked men.
Some of those wicked men. Keep reading now.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go.
TD Jakes, that's your Creflo Dollar. That's right. Pork Chop. That's right. All of these deacons, these elders. This is these Christians. This is these people on Clubhouse.
Right.
That's who they are.
Right.
These
some of them.
Some of them
persuaded many.
Persuaded many.
God.
Persuaded many. Why? Because they used the language and the culture of the Greeks to get your, like, for instance, let me give you an example. Right now, When you listen to people teach, they're using the linguistics of America. Being Hellenized is no different from being Americanized. It's no difference. So this is not something new on what they're doing. When you hear people teaching you the scriptures and they're using the culture and the language as being dominant in the scriptures instead of using the law, statutes, and the commandments and the Hebrew as being dominant, they're using the America culture to win you over. Itchy ears. That's what they doing. They winning you over. This is what they did back then. They did the same thing. It's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new.
It's nothing at all new. Read that again, verse 11.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
With the who?
With the heathen.
Now, didn't the scriptures tell us not to do this in the law? Can you give me that, Mataziala? The scriptures told us not to make covenant with the nations.
Right.
It told us not to do this. But because of these wicked men that came out of Israel, which is so-called blacks, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native American people, the same as today. Read that verse 11 one more time.
This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Now, Mataziala, can you read that?
Khan, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 2.
This is our law. Remember, we read earlier before we started. This is our wisdom. This is our understanding in the sight of the nations.
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
No, you should make a covenant with them.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Thou shalt not make no covenant with them. What did they do in Maccabee 1 and 11?
So like it, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Come on.
That are round about us.
Read.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
This is not something new. We did it when we was coming out of Egypt, and
that's
we're
right.
doing it now.
Come.
Today.
We're doing it now. You was about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say today.
Absolutely, we doing it today. We always wanted what? Oh, I believe in the covenant of Esau.
Of Joe Biden.
Oh, that's a beautiful covenant.
I like his laws.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Makes me feel cozy. Helps me sleep better at night.
That's right. Who you voting for?
Go ahead, keep reading.
Oh man. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license.
Gave them what?
Gave them license.
Gave them license. Right now, hey, this is not something new.
It's not nothing new, man.
Listen, you got to go and get a license from Esau.
Okay.
Oh, you want to open up a congregation?
Yeah.
You see what you're talking about up in there. Okay, all right, I like what you do. You marrying the gays? You doing what we tell you to do? All right, we're gonna give you a license. But in the school of universal practical knowledge, we fight against that.
That's right.
We are going against the grain. We're not going with the grain. We're not going with the wave flow. We going against it.
That's right.
We going against it. Now I want you to jump down to go ahead, keep reading.
So like who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Come on.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
This is what we do now. There's nothing new under the sun. This is what we do. It's your football, it's your basketball, it's all of your little events. All of your little events. This is what we do. Keep reading.
Khan. And made themselves uncircumcised.
Very important, because now this right here heavy, because it changes everything. Now when I read the New Testament and I read, well, the uncircumcised, well, who's the uncircumcised? When the scripture said what in verse 15?
And made themselves uncircumcised.
Made themselves uncircumcised. So when it talks about the circumcised and the uncircumcised, that changes everything in my mind. If you didn't take out the Apocrypha, if they didn't take this out, I would have read this early and I would have saw this. But under Commanding General Yohana, he was ordered, hey, listen, we got to keep the scriptures the way the scripture's supposed to be. The way the 16, listen, sidebar. I want you guys to understand something. There was something called the 1611 King James Bible.
Ooh-wee.
And now we have something called the King James Bible, right? Well, what is the difference? 1611 King James Bible got the Apocryphas in it. Can you get that in the Zandervan Bible Dictionary, Mataziala? One of y'all get that? The 1611 has that. Now listen, in order to get over on you, that crafty counsel that we spoke about earlier, what they did was they say, you know what? We're going to do a King James Bible too. And in our King James Bible, we're not going to call it, we got to get rid of the 1611 part. We just going to call it King James. And when we just call it King James, it's only going to have 66 books. And we're going to take out the Apocrypha. That's that crafty counsel.
That's right.
That's that crafty counsel right there. I mean, it's only smart. Look, you got to understand, Esau is a deceiver. He is the beast. He is the great red dragon.
That's right.
That we read about in the book of Revelation. This is him. So it was important. Think about it. If you got something that's copywritten, right? You would just take out a word or two, keep it together. So you take it, you change it from 1611 King James to just King James. So now you got two different books. Because if you look up right now, if you Google 1611 King James Bible, you'll see that it has the Apocryphas in it. You'll see that. And guess what? That was before the transatlantic slave trade. That was before the transatlantic slave trade. So they took it out. You got that out?
What you looking for in here?
The King James Bible. Don't they got the King James Bible in there? Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, they have it in here, but
don't they got how it was translated in there?
All right. It says King James Version. When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed to James I, who had been king of Scotland for 37 years as James VI. Several months after he ascended the throne of England, he authorized a new translation of the Bible to replace the Bishop's Bible.
Come on.
47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups, 3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New, and 1 for the Apocrypha.
And 1 for the what?
And 1 for the Apocrypha.
So why did they take it out? Let me tell you why they took it out. They took out the Apocrypha because you would have read this.
Right.
You would have read this information. You would have read, oh, and it happened. Well, what happened? Alexander. Well, what happened? The vision that Daniel had. You would have read it. You would have said, oh my good, this right here. Now the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You would have put it all together. You would have put it all together. Now let's go back to Maccabee because we run out of time and the greatest show on earth is getting ready to come on, which is Black Watch. And everybody need to watch it tonight because we had some heavy and great things that just took place throughout the week. All right. So real quick, let's go back to First Maccabee. I want to touch on a couple other things. Let's read that again, verse 15.
And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
So we were sold up to mischief. We believed everything that they were saying. We believed everything that these wicked men was teaching us, and we followed after them. Read.
Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms.
So now, all of this is history. Dealing with Egypt, dealing with Ptolemy, all of this took place. But I want to jump over and read a couple things that is really strong today, and we go by still today. I want you to go to verse
42.
Go to verse 40.
40. Khan.
This is the book. Start at verse 37.
Khan. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them. Salaki, you still there, Tashion?
I'm still here. Go ahead.
Okay. Whereupon the city was made an inhabitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt.
So all of this stuff was taking place. This right here will give you a whole different view of this area. All these places in Antioch and in, all of these places that Paul was going to. This is what he was dealing with. Read.
Khan. As had Salakia.
Verse 40.
As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning.
Now this is the heavy one right here. Verse 41.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
So he wrote to the whole kingdom. Listen what he wrote to the whole kingdom. Go ahead.
That all should be one people.
All should be one people. Now, didn't we read in 2nd Ezra, and as for the other people, they are nothing. So now the other people that are nothing, now they are teaching us that we're all one people. Don't that sound familiar?
Khan.
Isn't that the crafty counsel that they do right even now today? That we all the same people, we all one people under the Most High God.
Yep. Pledge allegiance.
Yeah, we all one people.
One nation under God.
We all the same. Read that again.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. And everyone should leave his laws.
Everyone should what?
Leave his laws.
Didn't we read earlier that this is what gives us life?
Right.
And anyone that leave it shall die.
Right.
Didn't we just read that? We just read that. This is how we started off. But guess what? Antiochus and these wicked men of Israel convinced everyone, not everyone, but convinced many that no, this is the way. And we all one people. They still do this today. Go ahead, read.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Of the who?
Of the king.
Of the Most High Power.
Of the king.
Of Yahweh Shai.
Of the king.
That's what we do today, right now. When y'all be going and voting and all that, that's what you're doing.
That's right.
That's what you're doing. Y'all all trying to become one people with the heathens. This is all a part of the crafty counsel. Read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
To his what?
His religion.
This is your Christianity. To his what?
His religion.
This is to your Islam. To what?
To his religion.
This is your baptized, your Baptist, your Pentecostal, your non-denominational. This is all of those. This is all of that wrapped into one right here. Read it from the top again. Read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Come on.
and sacrifice unto idols.
And sacrificed unto who?
Unto idols.
Give me Daniel's 8 and 11. Give me Daniel's 8 and 11, please. Bubba Kasha.
Book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 11. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of the transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered.
And this is what we do right now today. This is not something that's new. This is something that we're still doing. Let's get back to that Maccabee one.
It's Slacker, sir. It's 906. Oh. Yeah, you great turning in third gear.
Yeah, just to finish off that verse though, it says, and profane the Sabbaths.
And profane the Sabbath. Salakia. So
you're gonna have to do a part 2.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys kind of like see where we was going and what we was talking about.
Yeah, because
it was very important and very vital for them to take out the Apocrypha, because we would have started putting 2 and 2 together, and we'd have started to realize, like, hey, something ain't right. Something is wrong here. Something ain't matching up. So they had to take it out. They had to replace it with what you call today the King James Bible, not the 1611 King James Bible, which King James, which is Charles Stewart. He was a so-called black man. So they had to get rid of that. Yeah, saying that, I'm going to turn the class over to Officer Matazayala.
Come. All right, CBK security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if your brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrew, Ma'ashera. 10% of every penny of any increase belongs to the Lord. Priest fund, which is a free will offering for the priests. Whatever amount you like to donate, you can donate. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the closing of the Feast of Tabernacles tomorrow night.
That's right.
Be there. Come out.
Let's
show out in numbers, yo.
That's right.
And we have the Feast of Dedication also coming up in November, end of November. I don't have the exact date yet. November 28th. Come. All right. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that being said, Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh.
Shalom, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh.
To the sisters, Yahweh Shema, Shem Yahweh.
All right. Shalom.